Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the LANCESCURV Show podcast.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind?
This might be early for the East Coast, but I'm going to have a few shows that I'm doing today, so I wanted to start off the day with some live work like I've been meaning to, and expect this all the time. I have some things I have to do today that it might rain later on, so I said, you know what? Like I've always wanted to, I want to get my stuff completed early today, because you never know out here in Africa, in Ghana. When the rain comes, boy, does it come. I hope this video reaches you all with the best of health and mental stability and success. And success is defined on your terms, but I will say this, that let it be something closer to nature, the natural world, where you can get true peace of mind. Because when you chase what you think is this thing called success, trust me, it will lead you to a nervous breakdown. And in actuality, like I always say, I never saw a deer have a nervous breakdown. I never saw a rabbit go into the crazy house. As a matter of fact, we say how wild it is out there and how unsafe it is out there. And there's so many predators and there's so many things out there that in actuality, they look pretty healthy and at peace. They're given an instinct, right? They're given an instinct that kind of guides them. And only when they get caught on the food chain, then you can say, well, they were caught slipping. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're not caught slipping. We are. We're in a place where we shouldn't be. We're not living as we should. We're not living in the manner. This is not life, trapped and handcuffed in this man-made system. No way. And it has our minds trapped. Now we feel as though we cannot live without it. And they continue to give us these, how could I put it? These amenities, which are not. We're just locking ourselves up even more. And we desire these things. And it keeps us trapped in this system. And I tell you, it's nothing no good. Yes, I'm here live. This is live. It's good to see you. I'm telling you, I got my sleep patterns back. My eating is on point. I'm getting more and more sun, although I still need more. And that's what I'm going to get to do in a little while. Right now, it's 9:14 in Accra, Ghana, and we're live. And I'm just so thankful and grateful to have the privilege of life and the ability to choose life and to live life the way I need to and want to, in a way that's beneficial for me, which is something I could not do in America. And I'm getting more and more loads of hate mail from my own people in America. You ran away. You punked out. You bitch. You got no balls. Well, I'm not here to throw off on anybody who is here or there, because the truth be told, the whole planet is ours. The entire planet is ours, and we can go anywhere we want. Giant gain, yes, right back at it. The beautiful Deborah Costin on Facebook. Fatrima Gilbert, how are you? If you can, Deborah, you can come on over to YouTube in that chat room where most of the people are in. Oh, I told you I was going to breathe down the chest of the opponent and keep throwing blows. Put my big head, put my fists up and just keep throwing. Boom, boom, boom. Went to bed with it, woke up with it, all day with it. That's what we're going to do. It's just like those who are in different faiths and they say that you have to stay in a continuous state of prayer. And there's nothing corny about that. They just use the word prayer. But it's focus, meditation, and just staying on it. Your sleep pattern is off. Well, ride with me, Giant Gain, and I'll get it back on. But it's a little earlier over there for you, so you may want to adapt it a little bit, right? But yeah, especially these days, we have to keep our mind right. And with all of the things that are thrown at us on social media that many of us are addicted to because we have to see what everybody else is saying, especially when we make a comment and on Facebook you see that little red addictive dot, which means another dopamine hit, another hit of pleasure to the brain because you're being rewarded, you're being acknowledged in a society that doesn't really acknowledge us. And there are other races who go through similar things, but that is not my concern right now. My concern is our people, and many of our people don't even see it as our people. Many of our people don't see it as us going through similar situations, and we're kept apart by a mental sickness of that self-hate. And we need to get out of that because it will be our destruction if we don't get out of it. So this is why, for me, I will get down with those who have a proper mindset. Now, who am I to judge? I never judge. Wrong word. I assess. I make an assessment on what the situation is and who I am to spend time with. See, judging is when you don't know. When you make an assessment, you're going by a set of rules, whether it's in a book or in an agency or on a job or your own personal set of rules. And since I know myself and I know how to get the maximum amount of efficiency out of my day and in my life, unless I choose to say, you know what, I'm shutting everything down. I'm going to just chill and unplug my brain from everything. I don't care if a bomb drops in a certain part of the world. And Lance, you got to tell the story. I have to have a day where I cut off. And sometimes I have that day and I already have stuff created and I'll put it up on that day. So people say, oh, you're going 7 days a week. No, I've learned to enjoy myself and enjoy every minute of this life that we are given. There's so many people who are not content creators who are watching everything. I got to talk to this one. Oh, reach out to me. They're falling asleep and they hear notification and they start watching. What kind of life is that? We're made to breathe and vibrate. And I will say it's a lot harder to breathe and vibrate in this place called America. It's not the land that did it. The land is beautiful. The changing of the seasons is beautiful. It's the system that's over that land. And as many times as I say this, there are so many people, it flies right over their head. So I'm not against America, the land. I am against the system of America that has our people mentally trapped and defeated when they think that they're doing good. I mean, I'm not throwing off on the faction of us who call themselves Christians. But when you see a situation that is so downtrodden in certain individuals' lives, and all they can say is when you greet them, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Now, they might be several months behind on their mortgage and about to get foreclosed on. They might have a child that's drug addicted and they don't know how to deal with it. What is blessed about that? You need to get up and get busy and change your reality, because just like what I'm leading into as far as the title of this particular one, and this is not going to be long because before I leave, I'm going to go up on the rooftop and do something. I got to do something on the computer with some graphics on the show that we did last night that has yet to be heard. And then I'm going to go out there and attack the day before the rain comes, right? But just like in the title of this particular show, was God ever with America? Was God ever with America? And what do I mean by that? Well, many will say throughout slavery and that part of our history, which was still in slavery, that the Lord brought us through. And if it is the Lord that brought you through, is it the same Lord that allowed these people to behave in a manner as the savages that they are, telling us that telling us actually that we should be thankful that they brought us over to America to civilize us? Well, when you brought us over to America, and before you say all of that foolishness about, oh, well, it was your own people that sold you into slavery, I'm going to post at the bottom a link by Dr. Vibrant Isa Muhammad that debunks that completely. It did happen. It did happen. Yes, it did. But it was so minuscule. But this is their out so that they can be in denial of what has happened. And I'll do shows every now and again that sound similar, that drill home certain points. But this is how they get out of it. So, okay, let's say all Africans were sold to the white man and all of them did it. What part did you do in America? What part are you responsible for? Did you show them civilization? Did you show them God's love? Did you share some empathy with them? How did you treat those that you brought over? That's your part. So if you want to say the sale was done, if somebody sells a gun to me and I go or a machine gun, automatic rifle, and I go shoot up a mall, kill hundreds of people. Usually there's somebody else that's there that has a firearm and the cops get there quick. But say I was that skilled, and I am skilled with weaponry, and this is no threat. I'm just using this as an example. And I went to a mall and shot them all up and shot up all of these people. Do I turn around now and say, the gun was sold to me by a person who looks like you? So does that alleviate the responsibility that I had when that gun and that rifle, that weapon was placed in my hand? You see, these folks are so excellent at deflecting. And not only will they deflect, but they will straight up lie. Because isn't it something, those of us who have lived a sizable amount of time on this earth, which the more and more you live and you see how the years pass by quickly, you realize how short of a run it is. And when you see that, like me, I'm approaching my 60th birthday in April. And I'm saying, whoa, this thing went so quick. So if I take 60 years and go back to 1963, and then go back 60 years to 1903, right? And 60 years before that, really all of these things that have transpired in the timeline of history, it was just the other day. So how is it that all of a sudden we feel that we are supposed to be thankful for these savages for hundreds of years that have ravaged the world, and wherever they've gone, they take over and they tell you, you better go back to where you came from, but this planet is ours. Where do you come from? And how come everywhere you go, you've messed up the natural order of that place? But again, I say, was God ever with America? Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say God. And you see how I have it highlighted, because what you may call God may not be what I call God. It may be a whole different ball game, baby. A whole different thing, right? So that being said, why was I tripped off today to say this? Because there's a YouTube channel called Redacted. Let me just put it in the chat room here. Redacted, just in case the spelling is off. That is one news channel. It's a couple. They're Caucasian, and that's how you spell it. I would suggest that you subscribe to that channel. Now, there are people who may say, oh, yes, Sister Miko bears sugar. Yes. They would say, well, they're Caucasian. You know, we have many of, and I'm going to say it this way, and I'm going to say it in a very insulting way. We have too many damn pro-black nigglets. Pro-black nigglets. Let me say this while I show my face. I don't want any mistake. I don't want anybody to turn around and say, oh, it wasn't SCURV. Yes, it is. We have too many pro-black nigglets that are rah and something and never move forward toward anything. And I always like to talk about them. And they're the same ones that tell me that I ran. Ran where? I'm in the same house I've always been in. If you own the house and you can go and sleep in any room you want. I'm weird that way. When I am in a house, sometimes I like to sleep in the living room. Sometimes I like to sleep, of course, in the bedroom. Sometimes I like to sleep in the hallway. Sometimes I'll spread out and sleep in the kitchen because I've got to know the full majesty of that structure that I'm in. I'm weird that way. I'm just straight up telling you. I'm very unorthodox in many ways and in different areas of my life. But we have to understand that if God was ever with America, and let me backtrack to why I got on this. I looked at Redacted, and it was speaking about Putin, and it was speaking about the whole possible nuclear war. And some people say, well, it's a scare tactic. Well, if it is, I'm still watching every move, so I know how to react properly instead of panicking. Because many of the blessed and highly favored, they're the very ones who are going to be running around screaming, oh my God, because you weren't ready and you weren't informed. And am I against that, or am I against the Bible? No, there's a lot of truth in it. Do I think, or am I saying that I'm an atheist? No, I believe in a creator, or rather I know that there's a creator, but quite possibly the creator who is connected to all of us, if we're properly activated, could it be something different than this thing that they tell that we should worship as God? Because they tell me that God is love and God is peace. Now, there was a comment in Redacted. I looked for it again, but everything scrolled down so good. It was in the comment section because it's a very, very popular independent news website. And their views and the way they report it is diametrically opposed to Fox and CNN and anything in America. And they are American. They're white American. But I like their spirit. I'm just being straight up because I'll listen to them more than I will listen to the false stuff that some of these pro-black nigglets will spew, because I'm all about reality. And one of the comments said, we need to go back to a time when we had God with us here in America. I'm thinking, okay, God is love. When were we showed any love here in America? Well, maybe she knows there's a time period that everybody laid down their sword and there was a truce, but I can't, for the love of me, memory, think of a time when God's love ruled in America. Maybe for you, and maybe that love was a love for the thieves and the rapists and the robbers and the murderers. And if that is a God that you worship, because evidently maybe that was a time, because I'm assuming all that has been done and all the blood that's on America's hands, and your God condones this, then it can't be the same God that I bow down to, that I acknowledge every morning when I wake up, and I acknowledge for a good day, bringing me home every time I come back. It can't be. We definitely must be talking about two different entities. So say, for brevity purposes, I just don't want to say just the evil forces of this. Let's just say there's a Satan out here, right? According to you. And Satan would take joy in killing and raping and robbing, because they tell me that he comes to kill, rob, and deceive. I don't know. I got it all mixed up, but you know what I mean. And that's all he's done for us in America. So maybe when you say, in God we trust, that's the God that you're worshiping, because in my recall of history from my viewpoint, and many of the things that weren't taught to us in the schools of indoctrination, because coming up in New York City, I was born in 63, in 69, 70, 71, all them times from first grade on up, because I didn't go to kindergarten. I went to a Head Start program. It was, I think President Johnson implemented it, and I was part of that Head Start program that put you ahead by the time you went to first grade. Because I think kindergarten really, I don't think we should be just sitting around and it's just daycare. We're sponges when we're young. We need to be taught reality, maybe in bite-sized pieces. You're not going to sit down to a child who doesn't understand everything. They have no perception of the world. But you got to give it to them so that whatever you gave to them early on fits in with what they are learning and absorbing later righteously for them. Because all that ooh, baby talk and all this fairy tale, they have to relearn things. But that's a precursor to keeping you trapped mentally so that whatever they say, you take it as reality. So we got to get out of that. That's just a footnote that I have to say. All that foolishness, you're best to keep your child home and relate to them and get a connection to them. But like I said, why did I call it schools of indoctrination? Because there were a certain set of people, and I have to say it this way, not that I'm scared, but they looking to knock this channel off. So we're going to play this game. There are a certain set of people that Ye was speaking about that ran the public school system, ran it. I mean, I thought I was out in that part of the world that they call the Holy Land because of the last names of the teachers that every single grade, every single class was them in the black neighborhoods. There might have been a sprinkling of one or two, maybe a counselor, maybe one other teacher, and maybe a janitor that looked like me. But they were there telling us and teaching us. And unfortunately, most of us absorbed what they had to say. But they left out things that we didn't know. Isn't it something? And there's a lot of fraudulent information on the internet that you need to fact check. But isn't it something that some of us didn't learn the things that were out there until we were in our 40s and 50s and 60s. And we said to ourselves, well, I was never taught about Black Wall Street in elementary school or junior high school or high school. I wasn't taught the depth of hate and the things that were done to us for so many centuries here on this land. They told us a little bit about it. All we knew is that we were slaves. They didn't talk about the slave revolts all over the country where we defeated many of those who had us enslaved. They always told the story slanted to benefit them in a manner where we feel as though we don't have any power, that we don't have any chance of getting out of the clutches of America, not the land, but the mentality and the system that rules over. So here I am, my own people telling me I ran. No, I'm free. I didn't run. I will be back to America very soon. I'm not going to announce it because you know how this system is. I might announce it once I leave and show you all the videotapes, but there will be the few that I will contact and we'll vibe for a long time. I got to move covertly, because a lot of folks don't like the things that I say as well as it is with other people, because I'm a little guy out here in cyberspace. But it's funny how those people, Minister Farrakhan said it, Malcolm X said it, and I'm saying it, when they see that you have a talent in an area or in multiple areas, or you are creative and think out the box, that's the biggest threat to them putting you in a cookie cutter mindset and a predetermined box or role in American society. So if you have aspirations to be a lawyer, they will try to discourage you and say, oh, just be a carpenter, which we need our structures built and maintained. We need carpenters too. But why try to turn us all into carpenters? Why can't we do or get into the financial aspect, banking? Why can't we get into the medical field on a higher level? There's a nurse here today, and she's a brilliant young lady. And there's so much greatness for her. And I'm not knocking nurses by why is it that we're encouraged just that, which is paying and is respectable. But as soon as you try to go above a certain level of predetermined levels that they have set for you, now you're violating. And this is why Those people were placed there, and they act nice, and they treat you in a way like you're nice. But you have a guard dog in your house, and he's protecting you. You're gonna give him the little snacks and the meals and treat him nice because he's there for a purpose. And you have a purpose for us as a people to keep siphoning away from us our life force. So what's that all about? That we can't be lawyers in our own community, bankers in our own community, people who can give out mortgages, and collectively we get our money and benefit from it and give loans for projects in our community to build big structures and things to employ us. Because when you give up that Jesus money, it's going right to a white bank to benefit white projects. It is not going to benefit you. If all of that money, all of those billions and billions and billions of dollars were there to benefit your community, it would look a whole lot better than it did or does. Most often in the Black communities, we have some affluent Black communities that look nice, but it's not because of the church. In Orlando, Florida, what's the name of the street? Bruton. Is it Bruton Boulevard? Bruton Boulevard. I'm going to say countless, but it's not countless because it's not really a long boulevard, that particular part that has churches, but it's all these different churches back and forth. And on Sunday morning, or whatever prayer night on Wednesday, or function on a Friday, they're lit up. They're so positive in their emotional music that makes you feel this holy way, to get you in this mindset, to numb you from reality. But after the services are over and you walk down those same streets at night, you will see the used condoms. You'll see the needles. You'll see empty bags that once contained crack. So this is telling you the real health of our communities, while our communities are dotted. The landscape is dotted with churches. And if you become revolutionary and speak your mind as a pastor and speak about the decadence that the government is allowing to have men want to be women and women to want to be men, they're going to pull your status tax-wise, and you won't be able to do what it is that you do, because you must be subservient. So, again, like I say, was God ever with America? Yes, God was always with America. The God that those who oppressed you, their God was always with America. But their God ain't our God. You'd say, just to do a little verbal shorthand, their God has always been Satan. So those people who say they want to bring it back to a time when God ruled, I guess he ruled over and condoned our lynching. I guess he ruled over and ordered the rape of our sisters. Huh? There must be a reason why I'm this complexion. And I know back in Virginia, what was a forefather? I don't even want to call him father. I think the last name was Wynn, W-Y-N-N, in Virginia. And they were part of the Confederacy, and they were also involved in the Klan. Yet, on my father's side, I'm related to Colin Powell. He is a cousin of mine because he is part of the McCoy family in Jamaica, and all of the McCoys are related. And my grandmother's maiden name was McCoy, and that was traced back properly. This is not hearsay. Right? So I have an inner battle going on. I got a little bit of Klan in me, and I hate it. So I'm the original bipolar. There's inner turmoil. I have a civil war, but I love my people, and that side is subdued. It's just a physical thing. But my heart, I'm a full-fledged, modern-day, cerebral, revolutionary Black man, because that side of me is so strong that it's defeated the seeds that these school systems tried to put inside of me, because I had strong parents that taught me the right thing. So I never was delusional about reality. And oftentimes I was questioned by so-called teachers or indoctrinators because of the questions that I asked, because I'm a free thinker. And like I've said before, what I've noted and noticed was that any so-called revolutionary in history had a very creative side. And so the enemy figured this thing out. If we can remove art and music and even home economics, these are the threads that hold us together. These are the things that our imaginations and creativity come with solutions to challenges, which many people call problems. And if we can cut that and their connectedness to thinking out the box that we want to put them in, we can control them. So revolutionaries are always some type of creative entity, and artists always have a revolutionary side to them. They hold hands in this world of oppression. So they never taught us this stuff. And those particular teachers who, Kanye blew up as far as their so-called stolen heritage, they were the persons who were watching over the youngsters coming up to see which one may give problems, to see which one has the potential to go against the grain, because this is an outright warfare, and also there's an element of it that is a slow burn warfare. Those teachers were put at the front line, and you cannot tell me that they did not communicate back at headquarters. Oh, we got a problem here. We have an extremely talented young man named LANCESCURV, because that's the government name. There's an I-N at the end of it, LANCESCURV, right? But I call myself LANCESCURV. And he seems to think out of the box. And every time there's a parent-teachers association meeting, his parents are very much aware. The mother's an educator and the father's one who has his own business, so they can say and do what they want. They're very cordial, professional, but there's a sternness about them that we can't get around, or we can't put a veil over their eyes and win them over. And for them to give us complete control over the mind of their child. I wonder what they're talking about when they're in their home, because there are things that we teach and young Lance adds on to it, something that wasn't in the curriculum. Where did he get it from? And I'll say it wasn't the internet back then, but we had something more powerful. We truly communicated with each other. There were other people that were in my father and mother's circle, my family circle, that would teach me things and give me books. My mother's aunt, my grand aunt, was a college professor, Kathleen Evelyn Deloach. I mentioned her name before. This is back in Columbus, Ohio, way back, because she passed away in '94, right before my mother transitioned. And that was that was weird, meaning that when it came time for her estate to be broken down, when my mother passed away, we had to do my side of it all over again, you know? But when you have your elders, when you have your loved ones and those who lived before you, and not only the trajectory, they can say pretty good, but they can tell you what came before you, more so than depending on one of these teachers that have this unholy hold over the entertainment industry that we dominate. So why don't we run that way? If some folks are so angry that I'm right now in Accra, Ghana, and I'm not chained to a job, and I have to think my own way through, isn't that a sign of courage? Isn't that a sign of being brave to move into the unknown, and now to have more momentum than I ever had before, showing you that you don't need to be there. Now, if you need to be there, you have family obligations, you have a mortgage, you have a job that really shouldn't trap you. But I understand, special needs, a child or an elderly person, or you just have all your family there and you ain't trying to leave that. I understand, because I miss my people that are there. I don't miss the system, and I didn't run away. Did slaves on the plantation get mad when another so-called, I don't mean to call them slave, those who were enslaved, correction, have a little brain fart. But did they get angry when they didn't have the courage to leave? Now, you can still be in America and be free. Once you free your mind and free yourself from the shackles around you and the things that they use to keep you in, you don't have to leave the country. For me, I wanted to and needed to. I had dealt with so much racism in the radar. I'm very sensitive. And this is why I must keep myself away a lot. I'm a strange character. Once I know that you have negative energy toward me, you can smile all you want. I'm going to walk right past you. I'm going to walk right past you because you know what's in your heart and you mad because I know what's in your heart. I have no time to waste. Not at this age. I got so much that I have to do. We're all going to transition or what you call death. There is no death, but the death is here on this planet, on this plane, when you're not doing what it is that you're supposed to do. Occupying your mind, the powerful minds that we have with foolishness. The gossip that we do. These things take up space. Look, I'm always making things up. Well, let's say you had a box, a milk crate, and somebody was parked by the side in a station wagon or a van and said, listen, I see you have some items that you picked up from the store in that milk crate or in that cart, that shopping cart, you know, when you fold up and you pull. But I have this money here and I didn't get this money by illegal means, and it's going to be taken back. They're coming for me. I want to help my people and give away as much money as I can because I gave some to my family. I'll be all right when I come out of prison, but I can't travel with this amount anymore. Do you hear the sirens? The cops are coming. Take this money. So now, what do? Well, I wanted to go to the store to get some milk and get some cereal. So I guess I can take out a little bit of it and make space for the money. No, I'm going to say some cursing now. Throw all that shit out of there. Fill up as much as you can with the money. Why am I saying this? Because we occupy our mind with foolishness and the real worth of what we need to know how to navigate successfully in this world with a low wind drag. You like a UPS or a FedEx truck driving around in a hurricane. You all over the place because the wind is blowing. But if you get a Lamborghini or a Corvette that's low to the ground and cuts through the air, you can move through that hurricane or those hurricane winds with so much efficiency. So all of this stupid activity that we do online, the peeping and the sneaking and changing different profiles and having a different name so you can get in on a place where you're blocked, where people don't want to be bothered with you. What is this doing for you? So now this education or indoctrination that they give us, what is it doing for us? Has it taught us how to love ourselves? Has it taught us how to get along and build? And know and have the confidence deep down inside that we don't have to go to a bank, that we can collectively put our money together. I don't care if you make $30,000 a year, $300,000 a year. Let everybody put 10%, if they can, of their money into the pool. So we all have an equal bearing with this project. Let's take 10 years and get away from the creature comforts. I don't say go out in the woods and get bit up by mosquitoes and bit up by snakes, but I'm saying back off of certain things. Why don't we all shave our heads bald so we don't have to go and get it fried, dyed, and laid to the side like some of us still do and save that money? Why don't we have our own restaurants where we have reduced pricing? And the person who owns it, if he can have his basic needs taken care of, his home, what he needs, whatever, Let's put a cap on these things and work together and collectively sacrifice. But can we do that? Here I am taking the bus and he just bought him a new Corvette. I ain't sacrificing. But that white man that you see on your job who is your supervisor or who owns the company walks through and you tap that. Yes, boss. Yes. Yeah, my boss got a nice car. But you're mad when your neighbor gets one. Well, maybe your neighbor has some knowledge as to how you can get one. But that shouldn't be. We should be carpooling. We should be looking after our elderly. We should be looking after our own children. We should be homeschooling our own children, not these other people who want to rule us in these twisted contracts because we weren't taught how to read one. They never brought a lawyer who looks like us to tell us whenever you go into a deal that you need to have your own lawyer sit there and it has to be beneficial to you. Not just throw you $300,000 and your eyes are wide open because you never saw that kind of money. Hell, you'd kill somebody for $300, much less $300,000. And here you are thinking you made it. You go back to some of these same people. That's why they call it jewelry. You figure out what syllable I'm talking about. You spend all this money to get this bling to show that you made it. Fool. Now they're renting cars. They're renting women who wouldn't pay you no mind. Built like a brick house, beautiful as can be, without any Photoshop. And they hugging up on you and kissing up on you. You got your chains around your neck. You're sitting up on a car that you rented for the video. All those expenses. You rented out a mansion so you can show the world you made it. And now you're in debt to the same people who taught you in school, who don't care about you, who don't love you. And now you got to give all that money back. Now the next album that you come out with, it better be a success to pay back what you owe. And it's not now. Hopefully it is, but usually it's not. And you don't hear these people anymore. But the people who put you under that imbalanced contract, they go on because now they made way more money than you did. And they're still making way more money than you ever will. Maybe you can come back. But it's a perpetual thing for them, but it's a one-shot deal for you. We don't get the benefit of our talents. We don't get the benefit of our abilities, and that's got to stop. So for those who said that I ran from America, well, I don't have to worry about getting shot by some racist white cop. I don't have to worry about getting checked at the counter or somebody following me around like I'm going to steal something. All of those mental things that once they come off of you, you're like, whoa, I can walk down the street 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning and nothing happened to me. Yes, there's crime out here. Yes, there is. But ain't no shootings like that. Ain't no stabbings like that. If you turn your head a certain way, somebody might take your phone off the counter. They might overcharge you if they think they can rip you off. But this is why in my jokes, I always say, thank God for the white Jesus, because so many people here are so scared of the white Jesus and don't want to go to hell that they are not going to do certain crimes. If there's any good that came out the white Jesus, that's it right there. Because they talk that talk. Even if many here are like hypocrites, like everywhere else, because human nature is human nature and it's all over the place. But what happens if we did our own? We got away from these teachers who program us to later on be subservient to their system, to be so scared to say what the truth is. The celebrities who are tied up with these people, they can't say what they know to be the truth because their bank accounts are going to be cleared. They'll be put off and blackballed. They can't say, you know what? I've taken some of this wealth and stashed it here and stashed it there, and I'm going to come out and say what I have to say, and I'm going to go for building our own. Basketball players, football players, entertainers, all that money. Why can't you take $1 million for those who make it and have several million? And we get 1,000 people who can give $1 million, and now we have $1 billion. And we get to work on something. And we fund it with the earnings that we all have. and do something in the West. But the whole colonial mindset is here in the motherland also. It's nothing different. It's a different way. But that's why those of us who know the tricks of the devil need to come on over here and have a business relationship with this place, because you can do things pennies on the dollar. And that's why the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Turkish, and UK, and all kind of people are over here. And you have been so indoctrinated against yourself. I ain't got no business over there. I ain't got nothing to do with Africa. And this is the richest, most beautiful land in the world. And you know, there was another comment. I want to come back on point. And I said this wasn't going to be long, but it's a little longer than I thought. I'm going to wrap it down soon. There was a comment made on one of the videos. And of course, this was a white man. You know how they talk. Well, you know, you better be glad that we're over there helping to feed the starving black children. You talk about America and white so bad, but we have a heart. We have a heart to come over there and help you. There's no one else helping you. So you better be glad that we have such a kind heart. I'm like, whoa, wait now. After you rape and rob and pillage this land, and yes, there are some who are leaders over here who sell us out. Yes, there are. But you're going to come over here and let's say, for example, you're a friend of mine. You come over my house and I have a fine sister. But you ain't looking at her like that. But deep down you are. And you come over and you rape my sister when there's nobody around. And she knows it's you, but she's traumatized. And you come around later on and you peek and we see you and you roll up and we all find out together that my sister was raped. And now you say, oh, let me help take her to the hospital. You raped my sister, but now you're acting like a savior. So these people in the world rape us of all of these minerals and good food. There's no soil like African soil on the whole planet. None. And you know that. And you want to put these commercials up in the middle of the night. Send your money to White People Care for the Hungry Black African Kids.com. That's what I said. That's basically what it is. And they put this music on. And I would say, from what I heard, I did hear this, I didn't research this, but it makes sense, that the majority of these people donating are Caucasians, right? They'll donate to what they think is a problem in Africa because they want to feel superior and they want to relieve themselves of that white guilt. A place where you take a leak or you take a dump in the soil and come back the next day and there's a tree that's sitting there looking like you. There's some rich soil, y'all. I jumped out on the highway to take a leak between these two trees, came back, there was a SCURV tree there looking at me. I was like, what the heck? You throw seeds down, poof, they come up. Yeah, it takes a little time. But it's a lot better than that soil over there. I'm not knocking it because things grow in America. It's a different climate. I understand. Look at the pH balance of the soil in Central Florida. Lots of sand. The upper part of Central Florida, the pH of the soil, I know because I lived there. We were investigating property in those areas outside of the city. So I know the pH balance of the soil was not conducive to certain things growing, even though it was a warmer climate most of the year. And understand, it does get cold as heck for a couple weeks at nighttime in Florida. So this soil here, I love getting my feet in it. It just does something to me. I love being around it and seeing it. It's life, it's minerals, it's life force in this thing. But yet we're hungry. I've driven through places 2.5 hours here in Ghana, and on both sides of the highway, there were mangoes as far as your eye can see. I'm like, where are these mangoes going? It's just so much. So you all need to stop with that lie. If there is a war-torn part or country in Africa, because we think Africa's like New Jersey, some little state, or Africa's like, oh, Alabama, a little thing. They lie to you on the maps anyway. They make it seem so much smaller, and it's so big, even when they shrink it down, it's bigger than everything else. but you don't want nothing to do with this place, even if you claim to be indigenous. Yes, we are all, as melanated people, indigenous to this planet. But you want to separate yourself from Africa, and others are benefiting from it and getting rich off of it. So the very people that rape and rob this place, these corporations, these businesses, study up on what they do and where they're getting their resources from. Just like we know now, you cannot have a cell phone, a smartphone, if it wasn't for the substances in the Congo. The only place in the world to get it. So you repping Africa every time you have or buy your smartphone. Why aren't you benefiting from this? Or why isn't that country benefiting from that? This is the food basket of the world. Yet we import things in from other places that we grow better here. That's sick. But you have these old white ladies and old white men. Well, we got to help the hungry kids in Africa. And now you look at that and you embarrassed not knowing what the real deal is. That's indoctrination to keep us from wanting to go there. I don't know if you hear it, but there's a circular saw going off right now. And they're building an apartment building across the street, and they're moving fast. And they're not using the big machinery. There's a bunch of brothers over there doing it by hand, and it's stronger. It's stronger. Yeah, they have the circular saw, certain things they use, yes. But there's no big cranes digging and whatever, no. And it's a brother who is from Chicago doing this, but he was born and raised in Ghana. And we struck up a conversation. He was standing there. I didn't know that he was the one over this whole project. A black man who was born and raised here. And his family, parents moved to Chicago, but he came back to build because he understands pennies on a dollar, the profit that he can get, not in a wicked way, but what he can also give back by doing continuous projects. And he has another building around the corner that the two buildings touch, but it's on the next, you turn the corner and it's right there. It's a beautiful home. Actually, it's a home for him and his wife. I would like to even speak with him or have him come up here and let you see, because he has a little bit of the American swag on him, but you know he's Ghanaian. And this is a beautiful structure, customized in the part that they live in, which is on the second floor and in the back, but it's got floor to ceiling windows, not even windows, one big window on one side. Could you imagine the view up to the mountains that you see behind me sometimes on the not the Ant Hill Chronicles, I got to get back up there too, but on Rooftop Perspectives. And he's doing the damn thing. And he also, in that same structure, has a huge shop or room for several shops, and one will be a boutique for his wife. So she can make money while being at home. And they can employ people and go on upstairs and lay down and watch the business. And they have maybe about 3 other businesses they're going to do there. We have to think. Maybe the man had a lot of startup money. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Young brother too. And what struck us up with the conversation, well, we spoke in passing. He was purchasing something from my friend who sells the fruit across the street. And he said, man, he says, you look pretty fit. I said, well, I know you're a bodybuilder. He says, yes. I said, do you compete? He says, no, I don't get down like that. And he's natural, very strong brother. He said, but you did something one time, right? I said, I used to compete and I used to be in bodybuilding 40 years ago. He said, I can still tell you're still strong. And then we struck up a very intelligent conversation. And more, I grew to respect him so much, just like I respect Mr. Johnson, who was a landlord over this apartment while I'm finishing up building. That's no secret. So you see the mentalities of people who are not shackled, not brainwashed. It doesn't mean you have to leave, but at least understand that it's a bigger world out here. It's not just what they want you to see. It's not that. Oh, I opened up the chat room. There's so many people here. Do I go down the list? I see Ambience, Landon Price, of course, Giant Gain, Patrina Gilbert, Ambience, Linda Petty. Who else now? Who else? Let's scroll down. Tammy Ivy. Did I forget anybody? Let me keep on scrolling down. No, I think I pretty much got everything. But again, back to the original topic, what I was talking about. Was God ever with America? No, not our God. See, they teach us that God, I'm saying that the Most High, the Creator, He's somewhere else. I gotta go to this church to find God. And you find the practices that are going on over there. I don't like that church. They talk about me. They talk about my baby head big. They talk about I got an old car. They talk about I got that I smell. And my husband got, we got to leave there. So your life force is taken away looking for something so powerful external to you. And you're leapfrogging from one church to another with human beings who have their flaws, who need their healing, who have been through trauma. And you jump right into it. But no, that's not our God, if you want to use that word. That's not our Creator, if you want to use that word. That's not the Most High. You see, when you are a parent, and parents, you don't really have to ask who those children belong to when you all are walking down the street, unless somebody was creeping and one of them babies don't look nothing like you, coming out with straight hair and looking Chinese with a light complexion. Well, there's a whole lot more stuff flinging around more so than duck sauce, okay? Hitting them ovaries. But for the most part, you already see. And for those parents who have raised their children properly, you can't help but go to the parent in public and say, wow, I have to say that your children are so well mannered. You did a good job. So if this God that we so-called worship behind what they allow us to is doing these things to us, what God is going to sign off on our lynching and murder and rape? And if you notice on the banner, behind the flag, I put a big bag of money because they damn sure got rich off of us. They became a superpower off of us in the cheap little piddlings of reparations that they say they may give. They're not saying that. There's one state that said they're getting ready to whatever. And people say, well, if you hate America so much, then don't stretch out your hand. Yeah, I'll be the first one in line and bringing that money back out here because my bloodline was important to building this country, even though I have a father from Jamaica and even them helped. Don't you tell me just because we got dropped off and sprinkled in different places like salt over a meal. You want salt, you shake the salt all over. It's still the same salt from the same source. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. So this is why we understand that the real God, the real Creator, the real source is inside of us. And they don't want us to know that. They don't want us to know that we are connected to the God, to the Most High, to the life force of everything that changes the game. Because with our parents, let's just say a lot of us come from dysfunctional families and homes. I understand that. But let's just use this as an example. Say they were good parents. Do you think they're going to starve you, whip you for no reason, not let you in, make you sleep outside, don't buy you nice clothes? You got holy shoes and clothes going to school, everybody laughing at you. They're abusive to you. They seem like they hate you. You're there, but you work in that house from sun up to sundown and keep the place polished and clean and the lawn cut. This is something connected to you? No, this is something evil because a true living God you're connected to. You can see the resemblance from the children to the parents. Some more on one side or to the other, or maybe it jumped from the grandmother or great grandfather and mother. Traits, physical traits. But when you raise and I say it over and over and over and over and over, was God ever with America? Yes. The evil, the satanic, the occultic, that is their God. That is the one that signed off on the raping and robbing and pillaging and using us as free labor. America's God is Satan, the evil one, whatever word you want to call it, because if some white woman in the comment section of one of my videos, one of the other videos that I watch, could say we need to bring God back, I myself was sitting here befuddled, because when was the true God that loves me ever in and with this country? I love the land. I don't like the system. So don't get it twisted. That's my land too. The whole damn planet is mine. And as a melanated individual, it's yours too. You can go anywhere you want to go. I got nothing to prove by sitting there and dealing with the situation over there. And if you want to stay, I understand it. Again, you don't have to leave. You have family, you have things you're doing. You make your own decisions. But me, I'm a creator of content. I love my artwork. I want to get deep into writing, and I want my quiet time away from what has traumatized me, because I have been traumatized in America to the point where I will say, and I'm not claiming it, I already know it. It's not diagnosed, but old Scurv got PTSD. Trust me, because some of the things that have gone through my head for minor things that weren't that big, I'm like, I need to get out of this place, because I'm going to just trip off and just go off and do something. Oh, he was a nice guy, and he was a little radical on his website, but, you know, on his job, he was cordial. We know he didn't really dig white people too much, but he still treated us nice, and he just killed all of us. You know what I mean? I got to that point. It was like harassment all day. It's like, what is this? Y'all are following me, and, you know, you have a briefing earlier. Well, today, covert white people agents. Today, we're going to harass LANCESCURV even more so. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to avoid it. And it's still coming. And they want to make you think you crazy, because it's mandatory that you take their foolishness and bow in a subservient mentality. No, I'm not bowing for nothing. I can fight from over here. I can see clearly, even more so. I can see clearly now, the parasites are gone. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. The analogy I always use, I say, you have a beautiful picture on the wall, but your nose is touching the picture, right? Pull back 6 feet, pull back 10 feet, and you can see the picture a whole lot better. So since I pulled away from that place of America, and I'm not having more added on to me stress-wise, I can see that place more. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of blood on the hands of America. Not my people who are there, who are victims of that place. Not the people who are truly indigenous to that place. Not the people who have love and kindness in their heart from the true God that is inside of them, right? But those who go along with the program, you're going to get it too. I can't be patriotic on demonic activity. How am I going to uphold and I'm defending this country? You're defending the system that keeps your people down? You got a decision to make. You got a choice to make. When you actually have to pass through that filtration system of transition, you ain't getting up out of here without acknowledging the things that you've done. You know that. You go in the department store and try to keep something in your pocket. Ah, shoot. Oh, I'm sorry, man. It was a mistake. Yeah, please. You done pushed up some expensive Victoria's Secret underwear up under your left titty, and you didn't know it was there. How it get up under your left titty? And been there too. Think you slick. You ain't getting away with it, because this universe is based on perfect balance. It's about balance. You ain't tipping the scales on that. And like the one fact that I always bring up, there are unseen powers and gravitational pulls and different things operating beyond your perception. I mean, there are things looking at us, many of us, right in our face, and we can't understand what it is because we're so full of the indoctrination that has cut off a part of our brain to think freely. On the phone, I'm gonna end this soon. It's starting to do that buffering stuff, and like I said, I paid up a whole lot for these internets. My stuff is topped off. Plus, I got 2 barrels of fuel in the back. I got it. I'm good because I'm gonna put down some work. But since they might be starting that, since I'm talking this way, I'm gonna wrap this down because I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So that being said, the God they claim to serve is the God that they claim to serve. It is their God. But who we're connected to is diametrically opposed to that one. And this is where we run into problems. Because we're trying to compare our God force to this wicked thing. That you can go into a church back in the day and sit next to Klansmen who are acting nice to you because they're in church, but they plan on killing you off that night. You go into a place of worship feeling as though you're doing the right thing, but it just doesn't feel right. And don't look at Catholicism. They look like they got Klan hoods on in there too. And you go to a Catholic church, there's something missing. It ain't connecting with the divine force inside of you. You sitting there waiting like you're waiting for a bus that never shows up. Occultic, demonic, satanic, dressed up to fool you. And you figure if you follow the rules and the 10 commandments and you take your good God force from within that is connected to the universe and the natural order and try to fit it in that, you are despised because of the goodness in you. Like I said on the rooftop last night that I did, you saw the darkness. It wasn't in the day. We're going to get down this week with some content. Light and darkness cannot exist in the same place. Darkness will try to resist and act like the light. Because in this world, we have darkness and agents of darkness that talk some good talk and lure you in who have the good heart and the real God for us inside of us. And we try to attach these things and it just don't work. America was never built on anything righteous. The system I want to see fall. I don't want to see my people, my melanated people, whether they're ignorant or not to what the truth is. I don't want any harm to come to them, but I damn sure want to see that system fall that set us back and got rich off of us. How am I going to want you coming to rape my mama and I'm supposed to sit there? Well, can I offer you a plate of food? You sure? Can I drop you home? Are you done yet? No, nigga, I'm gonna kill you. And that's what's in my heart. I don't go on saying this hate speech. I spoke very clearly, but there are many who are not gonna like it. You wanna kill the system that's choking you. You mean somebody comes around and tries to choke me like I was in that chokehold on January 26th? 1989, when 11 police officers beat me down, they said, this nigga got a strong neck. Now my neck is skinny now compared to the way it used to be, but it came down from my ears. And I had been out the gym for like about what? 1985, 4 years. But strength is not just from the body. Strength comes from the mind. If I have to do something physically that I need to do, I will rise to the occasion because I can unlock my mind. It's not locked, but I can let that force out. This is what must be done. I must do it. And that's what the powers that be know about me. I have that stick-to-itiveness and I'm not giving up. Like you watch the old movie, The Terminator. You try to run somebody down with a truck, with a car, on a motorcycle. Me, I'll jump on a skateboard and come after you. I jump on a unicycle. Y'all know I got that mad balance. But it's not just the physical balance. because I've mastered myself. I've mastered myself and disciplined myself from a very young age. A very young age. I'm going to tell a dirty joke, y'all. When I was in bodybuilding and training for competition, there were little girls that came over my house. I don't mean no underage. I said girls, they're women, right? They come by my house and, oh, Lance, do you really have to go to train today? You can stay a little bit. And they are performing a certain act, and I'm just looking down. Bam, bam, bam. 5 o'clock, time to go to the gym. This is what you heard. Zip, and I'm out. That's discipline. You 16 years old, getting waxed off. And no, it's time to go and do what I got to do. We'll do that later. This is important. How many men will do that? How many teenagers full of hormones would do that? That's what folks knew about me. And many times, like when I was in the Academy for Corrections, and the SWAT team saw how well I used the weapon, and they would tell me, just stay there for a year. You have to fulfill your year and come on over with us. They know. And they know I have no problem being a warrior. I can get shot, I can get beat, I can get physically defeated, but you're not killing my spirit. You're not going to do it. And don't think I love you so much that I will show you mercy. Now, if my creator on the inside says, show him mercy, I'm like, okay, I'll show him mercy after they get put in the ground. Because that's what they want for us. And they want us to join hands and worship God. We need to go to the church. After 9/11, so many of us ran to the church. And you see the inside of the church since we were children, thinking we're going to find something to save us. And when they say, are you saved? Meaning, oh, save your soul so you don't go to hell. What they really mean is save you for later use so we can use your life force against you and for our advancement. So I guess I'm not saved. I broke away from that. But I am preserved in the natural order that will go on and on and on and on. I just want to say thank you all so much for coming through. I'm going to make some more content today, but I have to make some runs out right now. It's 10:23 Accra time. On the East Coast, it's got to be what now? Like 5:23 possibly. So I said, let me do something early, put it in the can. I got some more stuff to do, and I'm going to go through this day, and just steamroll anything in my way. I'm very determined. There are things that I have to do, and I'm going to do it. Nothing gets in my mind to stop me, right? And that's how we have to be relentless. But we must know what the true mission is. We can't be misdirected to fight against each other. Right now, at this point, I'm a defensive wizard. Instead of throwing a whole bunch of punches, the ones I land will be effective. But for the most part, I'm dodging this one, dodging this one. Keep your guard up, boom, whatever, right? It's not always about aggression. It's about timing, precision, the mastery of your craft. That's the brilliance that they don't have. They create nothing, and they sit back in awe. See, the Chinese, the Japanese, they don't care that they don't create anything. They just copy and lie about it. Oh, no, we made this. This is what we have here. So, nah. That's what they hate us for, because we're truly connected to this earth. We're truly connected to the sun. We're truly connected on all the spiritual levels righteously. Although some of us may go off and not have enough confidence in what they were given. So they go off into occultic activity that's called African spirituality. All things called African spirituality, don't be fooled. I'm here, I'm telling you. There's a whole lot of goats being slain in the name of whatever. I think I had about 5 or 6 goats slain and sacrifice to stop me for what I'm doing. What happened? Your stuff don't work? I'm here recuperating from just being up at night at a time and all that. I'm here back on track. I don't think this is a bad start. I got a couple razor bumps. I know that's the razor doing it. You know what I mean? Once I drop my weight and get in the sun and start running and riding my bike, 60 years old, I challenge any 30-year-old white man. He won't be able to keep up with me. And there's nothing wrong with knowing what you have. The military brags about, we have this, and just in case, and we got this thing that can turn invisible, we got this thing that can go under the water, whatever. They flexing. But we always want to minimize the great powers that we have and the advantages that we have. Listen, I want you all to get up and look in the mirror and say, I'm a bad mother. I ain't gonna say the whole word, you know what I mean. I'm not saying you're that. I'm just saying in the spirit of because this world is not gonna boost us up only when they want us for their purpose. They want us in their military to defend their dirty deeds while you acting patriotic on something that don't want to be patriotic and love you. That ain't your God. The God they say and God we trust, and we can't never make it with the monetary system. It's almost like, tell me if I'm wrong. They say that they pray over the masters with different songs. They must pray over this money because the minute you think you got it made, here comes a bill to knock you down. You get a check in the mail unexpectedly. You get some bill coming at you unexpectedly. You figure you're ahead of the bills. You get a sickness and fall back by. It's just something that keeps you there. Stop playing with that system. Come out of it. That's why we really need to go back to bartering. And we can still use our own monetary representations, but we need to go back. Hey, I got 10 melons. I need 12 of them pineapples. Let's switch. And it all comes through the currency of nature, which is the greatest and most profound manifestation of the Most High, because those laws are never broken. You can feed yourself forever if you know how to cultivate that farm. But if you don't know that, how are you going to get that? We weren't taught these things. We were only taught to fit into a system that's destructive to us. That ain't no God for us. That's Satan. Their God is our Satan. But everybody's afraid to say it. And the hierarchy. No, that's a wicked hierarchy. I want no part of it. And it ails my soul when I see those who they still come with telling me that the noose around their neck is to help them to navigate this world. They got you. They got you. They might even reward you to lure more into their system. I've been approached down to the years, indirectly, from different factions that really never revealed who they were. And they talked in cloudy terms. Oh, you're charismatic. Oh, you know how to reach the people. It'd be so nice if you join with us. Let us know if you would like to get our website to show, but we don't really move so much in the public. And they give you a website and you see, what the hell is this? Nah. Some almost had me. Way back. Me reaching and searching, and it's like, when I got my foot in the door? No. Why? You're not using my life force against my people and to keep them deceived and to keep them blinded and to come against me at the end of the day after you use me. No, I am not stupid. I am not stupid. And we need to get on point. It's a process because some of us, to me, it seems like some of us are so far down the pike in our ignorance that I hate to say it, but for some, I'm not going to say there's no hope, but for some, it's probably 5 lifetimes of work. And they probably got 20 more years to live. So they're going to have to move in the accelerated program to wake up their mind. Anyway, let me take another peek at the chat room. And everybody who I see Coach Bettis here. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Everybody else I acknowledged. Let me roll it down. I like to get right to the point when I come out here because, you know, sometimes you come out on a video, like a live video, and you saying hi to everybody for like an hour. And the people who listen to the replay, like, what is this? I didn't come here for that. Is this the topic of what they, spoke on or supposed to speak on? Yeah. Yes, Sister Ambience. We are all looking for your next drop. And again, for some reason, there is and has been an issue because Ambience's channel, you see how she spells it here? Ambience is Ambience 1, not the number, but the word 1, right? O-N-E, Ambience 1. And so I'm going to try to figure out what this problem is. And Sister Ambience, I want you to send me that link again. And I'm going to just doctor it up or do whatever I got to do with it because that shows you a simple link, how they can manipulate, just like when they came after my site. And again, I just want to say this, and I hate to talk. Once we get into a floor, I like to end it that way, but I want to just say this, that my website was attacked, and the actual company that I use to, other than YouTube, to that I pay for to keep those videos there, just in case YouTube plays games, they let me know they discontinued my account. So I'm waiting for a refund check in the mail. Why? Because now all of a sudden they have these great community guidelines, but yet they have overtly sexual stuff. Titties out, ass out, everything. It's not a porn site, right? But what did I say? What did I do? Did I call for somebody's a death? Oh, you know I got you, sister. Ambience. And again, I'm going to put it here. In the room. Ambience 1. On YouTube. It can't get any more simpler than that. We're going to crack that code. So on LANCESCURV.com, there's about 1,500 posts. Because you know, if I post something 2 and 3, 4 times a day, that's a lot of postings. So not to get technical, but you have the page that you click on. Like say we have an ambience drop in that particular show, right? Now, because it was embedded from another company and they discontinued my site, you'll see the actual page and you can read whatever's on there, but that part that holds the video, it will say video doesn't exist or this video doesn't exist because they discontinued the account. So now I got to go through at least 1,500 to almost 2,000 posts one at a time and go and each pull it up, edit it, drop the YouTube code of that corresponding one. So it's like, oh, we're going to make you work. We're going to make you quit. We're going to make you give up. Let me tell you something. I will clean a football stadium field. If I don't have a push broom, I'll use a daggone toothbrush and get a better job done. Don't mess with me. I got patience. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing at least maybe 50 of those pages a day. And that's a lot because you got to go through a surgical precision on each one. See, folks don't understand how much work it takes to go into this thing. So while I create the content that I'm doing and I have to run out before the rain comes and come back, I'm going to do so much a day and do more. So I'm putting up these fists and we're going to really see what you got because you ain't going to discourage me at all. See? Hear that? Anyway, for the fools out there, tell them, you want to approach me? I need a scar right here. I got one here. I got one here. I'm just playing with y'all. I'm not into the macho thing, but I'm a man and I'm happy to be a man for my sisters and my community. What am I supposed to be? Proud of something else? We're proud to be. I don't, look, just because you was playing in your backyard and slipped and fell in the dog doodle and liked it, that don't mean I get down with that. I don't play in doodle. And if I go in the areas of a woman because she's sensitive back there, that's a woman. I'm gonna say it. Listen, I'm getting too open. I'm getting too lewd. Let me get out of here, y'all. It may be recorded later on. It may be live, but I want to do more of these. And I want to get this done early. And I know many will wake up and say, dang, he did a live at that time, because I still try to honor, you know, the East Coast. So it's still the same flavor. I have not forgotten my family there. I love you very much. And anything that I can do for you, you let me know. If it's righteous, if it's something to get the word out there, for anything. And anybody wants to come on and talk, if they have something to share, especially our elderly who have a history that the books that the enemy contains, they don't have those stories in it, a real deal. Even if it's just something in a local area and they want to name drop what went on, that's still part of our history. And when they leave us in transition, it's gone and we won't know. And this is what these enemies of us want. They don't want us to know our history and the true history, so we can understand why we are the way we are, so it can help us to come up out of the condition that we're in. I'm touched just like everybody else. I got stuff I got to get up off of me too. We all do. It's not a sin because of what happened. The sin is to remain that way and never want to change, never want to go through the metamorphosis to be what we were supposed to be. We're on such low vibration right now. Understand that. And yes, we can have fun and tell little jokes and have fun and all the wonderful things that are there, but the fun will be even more fun when we know who we are. And that's a beautiful thing. That's right. It's a beautiful thing. So anyway, much love to you all. LANCESCURV signing out. Let's play a little music here on the way out. It may take a second to come back on, but a little delay right now with the internet, but we'll let it do what it do, right? Play a song or two.
Why are we
I'm gonna end this.
Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind?
It's my brother. Much love to my sister. Enjoy this.
Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and firewater. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak He needed you black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell.